Hello everyone, back to do a State of the Space Station video. Um, just to let you know, I have freaked a bit on it, quite a bit actually. Um, but first off, I did release this today, the Waypoint, a bow. It's a nice little starter base, and I think I showed this already, but get an idea on the interior. It seems to do everything that it should do, I believe, and it's pretty inexpensive. Um, but moving on, notice how I'm keeping the camera down. We have this space station over here. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty cool, huh? Well, that's it. That's a video. That's a space station. We're done. Okay, I'm just screwing around. I did a lot of work to this thing. I did a big texture marathon on it to start with, but rebuilt the solar array to start with. Notice how I'm not showing you the whole thing right now. Um, this is the new version, and it has the same 15 large solar panels mounted to it, but also a gun position at the bottom um, with an artillery and a couple front guns and a couple back guns. Now, right now, I have cannon turrets for like all the 3x3 guns. They're just placeholders. I would have to figure out which weapons to put where at a later point. Well, as in the solar array, yeah, I kind of like how it came out. I used a lot of these steel framing blocks, and although I will say that this did drive up the size class more, and my original thoughts of this being a size class 7 is out the window. It's already a size class 8 as it sits, and I'm not done with it. In fact, I got quite a few more areas to do. So I'm expecting now that this will be a size class 9 or 10. I will keep it below 11, however. It's possible I may make a smaller version of this base and only use parts of it. But anyway, as in the solar array, I do like this. I think this is pretty cool. I like the framing in it, and it looks, I don't know, it looks semi-realistic, I think. Moving up this spire here, um, comes out to a new section, and this wasn't here before. This is a large open air landing pad zone. I have not textured the floor yet, and I have not colored hardly anything on this base on the exterior yet, so it's all just flat gray currently. But right above here is the hangar with the indented floor. So I had this large area that I could not do my normal things and like cut into it like I did on this row over here. So I built out some other things out of a carbon substrate as deco mostly. It's inexpensive stuff except for size class. It doesn't care, even though the materials used here were cheap. Also on the deck itself here, I made some of it with combat steel. Basically, like the outer frame going around here is combat steel, and the inner blocks are hardened steel. I'm trying to just keep the cost down a little bit. It's tough enough. It's not a critical area. If a hole gets blown in your flight deck, it's not the end of the world here. And this is just the second flight deck. So um, moving on, we come into the mostly textured tower section here, and I made some more modifications to this. Changed the way the side of the building was, or this part, I should say, a little bit. Gave it a first coat of textures. Things will probably change a little bit texturing wise, and of course the color is going to happen yet. You're kind of getting an idea on this thing, and it is this has really become a pretty massive station. Also, here is the one of the capital ship entry points. I guess the idea behind this is you pull up with a capital ship over here, you get out of your capital ship, you go walk over here, and you can get in the base. Also, if you wanted to pull up a second capital ship, you can pull up down here and also get up into the base. However, there are two separate elevator shafts. This lower spire will be a separate shaft from the one that goes up into the rest of the base. So you kind of get the idea of what's taking place here. Now, along the sides, we have, this is all kind of textured out. Obviously, I built this ramp out a little bit, or not really ramp, but this ledge out. I added some trim on the sides here, which is going to be really cool because I'll be able to texture this with a different color. And that is little things that I like to do. Of course, all this trim stuff, this is also carbon substrate. I'm trying to do everything I can to keep the cost down on this base, but keep the critical areas protected. Out in the loading bay area, these are all rigged up to turn on their lights now. And I did do some coloring here. Now I respawned this, and a lot of the textures that I had done prior got misaligned again. So I'm seeing things like this angle here. It's not like the end of the world or anything, but I'm still cleaning some of that up. But usually after as many times as I respawn this, I'm pretty much getting to the last of it, where there's not that many more that are going to screw up. So yeah, that's how it goes along here. Beyond that, I did a very slight modification up into the lounge area, and add a little steps and a makeshift diving board. Not sure if I'm going to keep the diving board or not. Unfortunately, maybe if I could find something better to use as the diving board itself, maybe. But yeah, this is just for fun here. So, and also because I did respawn this, a lot of these lines that I had all nice and pretty are all awkward again, all over the place. So I'm gonna have to clean that up. And also, this elevator does go to the roof. The roof currently has this dinky little landing pad here, which I find actually not very useful unless you got a very small craft. And I also want to get a second artillery mount position on the top of the base. Now there's one on the bottom, there's one on the top, so I have a feeling I am going to modify this area here, build it up a little bit more, and dump artillery out there. So that's coming. I have not textured the flight decks on either side, but this is an expanded flight deck from what it used to be. But gotta see how this is coming along. I wanted to build a space station anyway, and I recently watched a Star Wars movie, and some of those massive things they have in there, really get me pumped up, and I truly want to build some massive things. But I'm trying to stay within, limits of usability. This is going to push it a little bit like the Sentinel Station did. But it is going to be cheaper than the Sentinel Station, and it has a lot less space inside of it. But it does actually have a lot of landing areas now, especially. So that's how it's coming along. Hope you like it, and I might do another video yet when I get more of this done. I was going to show you some work on this, and I actually did record doing kind of a texture marathon, I guess you could say, kind of going through like wall at a time all the way through this thing. But I would say it's probably extremely boring to watch, even at high speed, because it's so repetitious and monotonous. And I think you kind of already know what I'm doing with the textures. So I decided not to post that video. If you did want to see it, I could put it together, but it's literally like 4 hours of nothing but texturing and doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I am deeply getting tired of texturing at this point, but I have more to do yet. But the end is near. The end is near. Right? Basically, I got to get the bottom side of this done up and the 2 landing pads. And then I begin the color process and probably some more little body modding tweaks and some decoration, maybe some deco pieces here and there. And the last major modification I wanted to do, or well, fairly minor at this point on the total size, is to get an artillery position on the top. And probably a few more guns in places. It's starting to get quite a lot of guns though. Trying to get it protected from all angles, including the bottom. And I got to focus a little bit on the top right now because there's very few turrets that can hit out in this area here. That will change. So hope you like this, and geez, I don't know when I'm going to release this. I've got a fair amount of work to do yet on it. So it's probably within the next week or so. As of the mid-level aspect of the challenge, for XCalibers challenge, that's a little out of the window, I guess, for this build. I freaked. I built it bigger than it certainly needed to be. But I like it, and I'm deeply motivated in building this because now I'm really liking it. Before I was only kind of sort of liking it, and now I'm really starting to like it. So I'm got a lot of attention onto this now, and probably the next project I'm gonna hit again after this is the CV destroyer that I was working on. I kind of put that to the side for now, so I could work on these other projects. But that will be coming eventually as well as the release of that mech that's going to be probably a prop. I have to get back to that, and also, and I don't know if you've seen this, I had it I think in some video before, but it is, what did I call you? Overwatch. And that is this defense tower. Interesting design on this one. Kind of a very powerful tower. Built to stay going and shoot a lot of things. However, it was pointed out that a lot of these turrets on the sides would be more effective angled vertically, like this one is. Because what happens is if you were going to attack this with a HV, if you come flying in here, you get so close that these turrets can't shoot you except for the one that's right up there. But that's one turret. You can easily take that out. So although I feel this would be very effective against flying objects, SVs, I think it would just put them down any which way shape you come for at this thing. Unless it, really beefy SV, but it's going to get hit, put it that way. But for HVs coming in on the ground, yeah, there's certain angles, like right here, you could defeat this thing. Yeah. And yeah, a little back up there, a whole bunch of sentry guns pop out if you come up to the landing pad. Just so if you wanted to run in really fast and try to get in here and get down to the lower chamber, you'll be shot up in the process. Then of course I hid some more sentry guns in here too. All right, well, y'all have a good day. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll make another one of these when I get some more progress done. I might try to do another build tutorial somewhere on the station Maybe when I get into the hangar or texturing one of these flight decks, which is going to be kind of a chore in itself. Shouldn't take that long though. It's just trying to map it out and get it all planned out nicely. And a good spot for the repair bay. All right, see you later all.